Welcome back, guys, to Neo Racing's Online Championship. This is the feature race from Snetterton 200. And getting ready for the lights to go out. Lights out, away we go. Good start from Jammer in the Beamer, which was expected for the rear wheel drive. And then there's Jay trying to make it 3 wide in between Bidzster and Blakeney. And towards the first corner. Everyone looks to be clean so far. No contact so far, which is good. Now down towards the Montreal hairpin. Keeps up the inside of Jason K. Bidzster's up the inside of Neil. He says, I'm having that position. And then everyone else, Keith goes a little bit wide. He's going to compromise his speed. Blakeney's hit as well. Blakeney hits Keith and it leaves Blakeney's off and Stevie's off as well. Wow. Did not expect that. That just shows you what a little bit of contact can have. And then Blakeney just lost complete control of the car. And then Stevie looks like he was just an innocent victim. I'm sure we'll get a replay on that. Anyway, Jamo is in the lead. Jamo's in the lead with Bidzster right behind him. Bidzster's going to be hungry in this one because unfortunately, due to a disconnection, TY is missing out from this race because he disconnected just before the race, and unfortunately we couldn't get him back in time for the race. And the races have a scheduled start time, so we couldn't get him back in. So unfortunately TY is spectating this one, but I'm sure he'll come back fighting at Donington Park GP circuit next time out. Bidzster's right up behind TY now. Sorry, right up behind Jamo now. I've been talking about TY, that's why it was in my head. Bidzster runs wide though. Neil's going to be up behind him now. He goes over the curb. Neil might get a good run here on Bidzster if he can keep up the good speed. But I think Bidzster just got away with it there. I think you see the BMW pulling away on the straight. And don't forget, folks, there is a pit stop in this race. 17 laps with a pit stop. Must pit once. So we wonder what the strategies will be. So into the Brundle chicane and out of it. In towards the bomb hole. Bidzster's still up behind Jamo. Not going to let him go lightly. Meanwhile, a little bit further back is Blakeney catching up to Mr. Slow One at the back. That's just his name. I don't call him the Slow One on purpose. That is actually his online name, Mr. Slow One. Keith goes wide. Keith goes wide. He's onto the grass. That's going to lose him time. But oh well. Oh, Jason K's off in the background in the BM. Don't think he's getting used to that car very quickly, but I think he'll get used to it in time. And there he is, recovers. Blakeney's past Mr. Slow One in the background, so he's up to 9th place after his fell part. And Jamo's defending from Bidzster. Bidzster's up the inside. He's going to try and do the switch, but no, Jamo covers it off. Good defending there. Neil's up the inside and tries to repay the favour from Bidzster earlier. Just gives him a little tap to make good friends and say, hello, remember me. So down the straight. There's Jay Hewson closing up to the back. He's having a good run in this race, Jay. Closing up in the orange BM. Meanwhile, Jamo's still ahead of Bidzster for now. No one's decided to make a move into here. Oh, Neil runs a bit wide though. Jay Hewson might be able to take advantage here. Into the bomb hole. And this is where the... Oh, he's off! He's onto the grass! Jay's onto the grass! He's lost it completely! But unlike Keith earlier, manages to keep hold of it. And speaking of Keith, he's closing up to the back of him now after that mistake. Into Murray's. Jamo's still ahead of Bidzster. Jay runs a little bit onto the curb there. Keith's going to close up. No one's pitted yet, I don't think, so we're okay for now. Can pit any time apart from the last lap. Jason K's off in the background again. He's really struggling with that car, but I'm sure he'll get there. Bidzster's up behind Jamo again. Jamo defends into Montreal hairpin. Right on the inside, he's got to hug the inside now to stop Bidzster from having to sniff up the inside, which he does. Covers it off nicely. And out onto the straight, and I don't think Jamo will have a problem getting away from Bidzster on the straight because of the acceleration of the BMW compared to the Mercedes. So down the straight, nothing's changed so far. Meanwhile, Jay's still in front of Keith, and Keith's pulling Stevie along with him. As you can see, Stevie there, pulling Stevie along with him. So we've still it's just over 10 seconds, maybe 12 seconds between the top 7, which is really good for the championship with good close racing. Jamo's still ahead of Bidzster. Bidzster will want to take as many points from this race as he can with TY's demise. So he'll want to try and get as many points So he'll want to get past Jamo as soon as he can, whether he does it with strategy or on the track. Keith's having to defend now from Stevie. Stevie's right up behind Keith. Stevie's still behind him. Don't know if he's going to make a move. Just quickly switch to the leaders. No, nothing's going to happen between them two, so let's have a look at Keith and Stevie into Richards, the first corner. Now Keith's ahead still. And the Gans just got slightly a little bit more top end compared to the Merc. Not too much, but just enough to keep it ahead. Stevie's on the brakes leg to just taps Keith up the back end, but I'm sure Stevie didn't mean that. He just outbraked himself a little bit. So down the straight they go. Bidzster's still behind Jamo. Nobody's going to close up to him on the straight. He's going to have to get it done in the corner or on strategy. Into the Brundle chicane. Bidzster's up the inside. No, he's not. He's on the curve. He's almost lost it there. He's trying really hard. Almost too hard, in fact. Jamo's playing a good defensive race so far. He's doing exactly what he needs to do and nothing more apart from that little mistake. But I think Bidzster followed him. So Neil's closing up to the back now. It's a train of three. Onto the brakes, into the Murray chicane. And so into the Murray's left-hander. Onto the straight. Don't think anyone else has pitted yet. So the people are leaving it a bit later in this race on the early dive-ins that we saw at Alton Park. Into the first corner. This is really trying to see how he's throwing the car in. He's got some good speed there. He's going to try the outside, but Jamo's going to just stay on the inside, defend that line, and doesn't need to do any more than that. Bidzster runs in a bit deep, but I think he's running a bit deep. He's going to try and get a good run out the corner over the curb. Really tries to get a good run onto the straight to try and do anything he can to keep with Jamo and keep closer. So we'll keep with this now as we head down towards the Brundle chicane. He's closer than he's ever been, Bidzster. He might have a sniff at a move here. He's back in the draft. He's closing up. Pulls out of the draft. He's going to try and outbrake him. He goes sideways. He's lost it. Bidzster's lost it. And he recovers it. What a recovery. And he passes him sideways. Oh my days. I cannot believe that. That was insane. And good awareness by Jamo there to give Bidzster the room that he needed, because Bidzster was in there like a shark to water. So good, one of the amazing pass there by Bidzster. And Jamo's into the pits. He said, I've had enough of that. I'm going to let him calm down. I'm going to go into the pits and get my stop over and done with. So Jamo's into the pits. Bidzster takes the lead from Neil, from Jay Hewson, from Stevie in 4th place, Keith in 5th. And there's Jamo still in 6th place. There's Blakeney, 7th. I don't think anyone else near the back has pitted yet. So there's Danny Quaver into the Murrays and out. There's Mr. Slow One and Jason Kay, who's really struggling with that car, but it's good for him to keep soldiering on so far. Meanwhile, in the lead, Bidzster's there. And where's Jamo come out? Jamo's come out 7th, just behind Blakeney. So it's 22 seconds, roughly, for a pit stop into Montreal Hairpin. So yeah, Neil's close up to the back of Bidzster now. And Stevie in the background, actually, I think he's closing up to the back of Jay Hewson. So we'll have to have a look at this. And the front wheel drive's a bit better through the tighter stuff, but the BM obviously is better out the corners. Keeps off again in the background, but he manages to recover it this time. Stevie's going to try and go around the outside of Jay Hewson and put him onto the inside, but no, Jay moves to the inside, covers it off. But he goes in too deep, he's off! Jay's off! And he comes back on and just misses Keith, I think. I don't think there's any contact, but just misses Keith there. So, oh, Neil's into the pits. Just see Neil there. Neil, you can see Neil there, 5th place. So let's see where Neil comes out in respective to Jamo. Here comes Jamo into the last corner. There we go. There's Bidzster. I think Bidzster's lost some time there. I don't know if he has lost some time there, but we'll keep with it. There's Jamo. Neil coming out the pits. There's Neil coming out the pits. He's ahead of Jamo. Jamo's going to have a good run though, but no, he's not going to be close enough. Neil is ahead of Jamo out of the pits. So that's how they resume. Stevie's 2nd. A little too hot into the corner though. Bidzster's off! Bidzster is off! He's made a mistake! Bidzster's off! Completely off! I'm sure we'll get a replay. This is what caused Bidzster to lose time just before his pit stop. He goes in a bit too hot again, then turning early, and then straight onto two wheels, and oh, like a stunt driver. It's not stunt driving Bidzster, it's touring cars. Meanwhile, Stevie's off in the background, but that's what caused Bidzster to lose about 5-6 seconds at least. But Stevie went a bit wide there. Keith's closed up to the back of him. There's Keith. And there's James. Up. Stevie's on the grass a little bit. That's going to affect his braking. Nope. Manages to get it stopped. Bidzster's into the pits. Bidzster's in. To see Bidzster there. Into the pits there. So we'll keep an eye on this fun little battle for now, and then we'll see where Bidzster comes out in a few seconds. So there's Keith coming up to the back of Stevie. I don't think any moves are going to be made there. A little bit too strong out. So here's Neil and Jamo. Jamo's closing up to Neil. I don't think Bidzster's going to get out in time. Nope, there they go, pass. So Bidzster's lost some really valuable time there. He'll be kicking himself for that. He made a mistake into the chicane and lost himself some time. So there's Neil and Jamo with the battle for what would theoretically be the lead after the pit stops have completed. Keith's up behind Stevie, but nope, not close enough yet to make a move. So they all go through the chicane nice and neatly and resume play. Neil's on the straight there with Jamo behind him. Jamo's going to be closed up a little bit, but then the Mercedes will have the agility into the corner. There's Bidzster, who's going to be really trying to get his head down now and catch up. There's Danny Quaver, 8th place. Decent pace in this race so far. There's Mr. Slow One, and I think, yeah, Jason Kay's retired, unfortunately. I think he just couldn't get used to the car and he was just falling further and further back, so Jason Kay's retired from this race, unfortunately. Stevie and Keith are in the pits. So this will be a battle of the pit crews to see who can get out in front. Should be about 5 seconds for a stop, roughly, and Stevie's out ahead of Keith. There goes Neil and Jamo. So Stevie and Keith coming out the pits there. Bidzster's coming past. Bidzster's going to be close between Bidzster and Stevie. He goes around the outside of Stevie. Yes, Bidzster just keeps ahead of Stevie there. Manages to get the momentum around the outside, and he manages to get 4th place, but he'll not have wanted 4th place. Bidzster will want to be up in the top 2 at least to get points. And Bidzster's run wide. He's not having a good race here, Bidzster. Can't seem to get into a rhythm of any sort. So he's lost position to Stevie there. Back into 5th place. Meanwhile, Jamo and Neil are still close into the Brundle chicane. There's Jay Hewson, who's not pitted yet, so he'll probably leave it a bit late to do his pit stop. He's going around again, so he'll probably pit a bit later on. Stevie's off. He's going to come back on when just decided to get Keith managed to take advantage of that, so Stevie made a mistake, so Bidzster is back up to 4th place now. It's a little gift from Stevie from running wide. So unlucky for Stevie there. I'm sure he'll be able to keep on the back of Keith though and see if he can grab another place. He might be able to do it just now actually, because Keith runs wide onto the grass. He's still on the grass, can't seem to get it onto the tarmac. Stevie's going to have a good run here, and he might, yeah, I think Stevie's going to be ahead before the corner, but I don't know. But now Keith's pulled him behind. Stevie had the overrun and got him on the straight. So Stevie takes 5th place from Keith. Meanwhile, the theoretical battle for the lead once Jay Hewson pits. Neil is still ahead of Jamo, and he looks like he's got a decent pace now. Neil, he's got a good rhythm, just needs to keep it there. Here's a man who really needs to find a rhythm and try and stick with it. That's Bidzster. He's made about 3 mistakes within 3 laps, so not good for Bidzster there. But I'm sure he'll bounce back at Donington Park. There's Stevie and Keith. Stevie runs a little bit wide, but nothing to worry about really. Manages to keep 5th place. So a little run down the order then. Jay Hewson's yet to pit and is in 1st place. Neil is going slow. Jamo hits the back of him. We'll run you through the order in a second, because there's Jamo on the outside. He's going to get you can see just the acceleration of the BMs. Takes one little mistake from the front wheel drive out the corner, and Jamo just takes the position. So takes the theoretical lead In towards the Montreal hairpin now, coming towards it. They're approaching Mr. Slow on a back marker. Neil's up the inside. Neil's up the inside, and I think Ian's going to get in. Mr. Slow one's going to get in the way, and there's contact. The back marker gets in the way. Neil's lost time to Jamo. Don't know what Mr. Slow One was thinking there at all, but he should have just kept wide at the hairpin, let them go, and then resumed party, and then resumed there. But now Bidzster's closing up to the back of Neil now, so Neil will be kicking himself with that. Jamo takes the lead, takes the advantage. Neil's in third now, with Bidzster right up behind him. Bidzster wants vengeance, he wants to get some positions back. But such poor driving there by Mr. Slow One. I mean, he should have been in his mirrors looking, and I mean, I'm not saying that they should just move out the way and let them go, but you know, you don't want to ruin a battle, which the fans can enjoy. So I'm sure the stewards will look at that and take appropriate action. So here we go, and then we've got Neil in third. I think there was a bit of a close battle just behind there. I think it was just a lock-up actually. I'm reacting to smoke. Here's a replay of what happened between Jamo, Neil and when they were lapping the back marker, Mr. Slow One. So Mr. Slow One's going out wide. They thought he'd go out wide and just let him through, but no, comes back across and just smashes into the side of Neil. Right, here's a slow-mo of what happened between Neil and when he was lapping Mr. Slow One. So Mr. Slow One goes into the corner. Should have gone wider there to let them through, but then Neil thinks, right, he's going wide, he's going to let me through, so I'll go to this side. But then Neil's just going to come, so Ian comes across and bang, straight into the side of Neil. Don't think there was any need for that at all. Mr. Slow One could have just kept out the way, but it wasn't to be. So there's Bidzster and Neil. Neil will be really trying to keep Bidzster behind him now, but Bidzster will be hungry. He'll want a podium at least to get something out of this. So we're on lap 13 of 17. Neil goes a bit wide, Bidzster close up. I don't think they're gonna. Now Neil's run a bit wide though at the corner, so Bidzster might get a good run here. We'll just stick with this. See if Bidzster can close up. No, not going to be close enough, I don't think. Meanwhile, there's Stevie with Keith behind. So into the Brundle chicane. Stick with the battle for the theoretical battle for second after Jay Hewson pits, which is leaving quite late. So into Coram. Neil's running a little bit wide there now, nothing to worry about. Bidzster keeps it tight. Into Murray's. Neil's gone wide. Bidzster's going to get a good run. Bidzster's going to get a run here. Is he through or is he still set? No. Yeah, Bidzster's through. Bidzster's through into third place. What would be second place after the pit stop of Jay Hewson? Into the first corner. Bidzster throws it in. He's going to really try now. Goes defensive just to make sure that Neil doesn't try anything up the inside. But Neil says, if you're not going to let me up the inside, I'll try the outside, and that doesn't work for him. He just locks up and goes wide. So he's lost a bit more time there. So Bidzster into third place. Neil back down to fourth. Keith's closing up to the back of Stevie slowly. It's a good little battle this between Keith and Stevie. There's Jay Hewson in the lead in the BM. Had some decent pace in this race. Into the Murrays. Now will he pit this lap? Yes, Jay Hewson's finally in, so we'll see where Jay Hewson comes out in a minute. There's Bidzster in third, Neil in fourth, and there's Jamo, who's going to take the lead of the race now after Jay Hewson's pitted. So he's still, see Jay there, still stationed in the pit lane. There goes Jamo. Bidzster and Neil will be next. And then Keith and Stevie were quite close. Stevie's having to defend from Keith here. Still defending. Jay Hewson's come out of the pits as well. Oh, so close there between them lot. And Jay comes out and hits Keith at the side. And he's going to have a look at the inside. No, Keith's just going to cover him off. So, a little bit of contact out of the pits there. But I think everything was alright after that, so everyone got away with it. So just to run you through the order now, everyone's pitted. Jamo is in the lead on lap 15 in towards the Brundle chicane. Bidzster, 2nd place. Neil, 3rd place. Oh, Bidzster's running a bit wide there, just hesitated there. Stevie 4th, Keith 5th, Jay Houston 6th, Blakeney in 7th, Danny Quaver 8th, Mr. Slow on 9th, and then obviously the retiree Jason Kay in the pit lane. So we'll stick with the battle for 2nd, because it looks like Neil might be closing up on Bidzster a little bit here, and just in the background there, Keith's closing up on Stevie as well. See if he takes a tight line, make sure he gets out of the corner well. Just to cut off the McGann's exit. Keith's flashing his lights. He's hungry. He wants a 4th. He's weaving around a little bit just to try and keep the pressure on Stevie there. Into Riches. And out of it, down towards the Montreal hairpin. I don't think he's close enough to make a move this lap. No, he's not. So into the Montreal hairpin and out of it. And down the straight. Bidzster's right up behind Neil. Neil must have made a little error outside of the Montreal hairpin. And looks like Bidzster's going to close up. Is he going to go for a move like he did on Jamo earlier? He's going for it. He's going for a move. Neil closes him off. There's contact. They've hit each other. They're into the wall. Bidzster's into the wall. Stevie takes advantage there over the curb. They're rejoining. And Neil's still in front of Bidzster. I think Bidzster let him rejoin in front. Just to let him have the place out of respect. So I'm sure we'll get a replay of all that. But into Murray's. He's still hungry, he's still looking. It's a 5-car train now for 2nd place. I think a few people made a bad run. Keith's having a look up the outside. Bidzster's looking to the inside of Neil. Keith's going to keep around the outside. Bidzster backs off and lets Neil get into the corner first over the curb. Will Keith take advantage? Keith's having a look at the inside. Bidzster covers off. Stevie's at the inside of Keith. Really overshoots. Goes wide. Rejoins and hits Jay as he rejoins as well. Jay's on the grass, but Stevie lets him go. Says sorry and lets him go. Keith's going to get past Bidzster. I think Bidzster got a little bit of a bad run out of that corner, so Keith's going to go past Bidzster there. So this is the last lap. It's all happening. Into the chicane. Jay goes over the curb. Stevie's right behind him, so that's going to be a close battle in the background as well. So they come round Coram. As they come round Coram for the last time. Who's going to get into the last corner first? It's Neil. Neil's going to be 2nd. Keith's going to be 3rd, I think. Meanwhile, Jamo wins the feature race in the BMW. A long way to first win for Jamo. Well done. Neil gets 2nd. Keith gets 3rd. He's really happy with that. Flashed his lights. Bidzster in 4th. Jay Houston 5th. Good little battle at the last lap. Stevie crashes on the line. 6th place for Stevie. Here's Blakeney. Going to be 7th. Danny Quaver will eventually finish 8th, and Mr. Slow One, who got in the way of that those last lap shenanigans. Here's a replay of what happened to Neil and Bidzster on lap 16, approaching the Brundle chicane. So Bidzster moves out to make a move, goes up the inside, Neil's moving across, and then there's just no more room. Contact's made. They take out a board with him, and then we'll just switch to Stevie. Comes over the curb as they both rejoin, and then bang, says, come on boys, get on with it. And then Keith subsequently passes Stevie in the process, so that's what happened in 9th place, and then Jason Kay retiring there in the pit lane. So well done to Jamo, good race, well deserved victory there. So we'll see you all next time for Donington Park Grand Prix circuit. Take care guys.